Hello, I'm Richard McKinley, President of IAPS, the International Association of Pastel Societies. And one of our very important committees, which is tasked with educational purposes and is headed by Ann Strutz, has been working really hard on some exciting things that we're going to be doing, and this being one of them. This is the first of what we hope to be many educational videos that we can share with the community. And our member societies are going to find them useful, and the members, as you as individuals of those societies, we hope will also find them all very instructional and helpful as you continue to work as artists in our beloved medium of pastel. So our first topic that we're going to be covering is going to be on evaluating the IAPS Exhibition Prospectus. And this is the informational document that you must review before entering a show so that you can make sure that what you're doing meets the criteria. We're going to have someone walk you through this, and that someone is the lovely master pastelist, Bethany Fields, and she'll be reviewing the prospectus and how important it is for you to read it thoroughly. She'll also be covering the eligibility rules on what work qualifies to be entered into the exhibition, and if you as an individual artist meet those qualifications as well. It'll also be covering a very important topic that every artist needs to take under consideration, and that is, what are the judges looking for? What do they think about? What are they considering when they look at this body of work? We all know the number of paintings being entered has risen greatly, so we're always curious as to what are the judges considering, and I think that part of the prospectus may be very helpful for many of you. Now, in a follow-up video that is already in production, we're going to be covering and giving tips on photographing your work and things that are going to help you with the online submission in this digital world that we're all living in. So I want to thank Ann and her whole team. I think this is a wonderful project. We're all very excited, as I know you're going to be, by what's going to be unfolding from IAPS. And so now I'm thrilled to introduce Bethany Fields, Master Pastelist, and she's going to be walking you through a typical IAPS prospectus.
IAPS competitions are eagerly awaited for by artists around the world. Artists work year-round to create paintings that they look forward to submitting to shows, and IAPS competitions are among the most desirable. Getting an IAPS acceptance is not only an important validation of your ability as a pastel artist and how you measure up against your peers, but IAPS also awards points towards their honors program, Master Circle and Eminent Pastelist. Our eligibility rules have been carefully crafted to make our IAPS competitions fair to all artists. We recommend that you slow down and take the time to read and understand all the rules of eligibility. Be aware that every prospectus is slightly different. Even if you have entered this exhibition before, our eligibility rules may have slightly changed, and note, they may have changed slightly from this video. Each show cycle will have 2 divisions to compete in: IAPS Juried and IAPS Master Circle Juried. Please read the prospectus to determine which division you should enter. Please take note of the important dates. Not only the submission due date, but also the shipping due date and the dates of the exhibition. Make sure you don't have any conflicts. If you are submitting to an international exhibit, IAPS has a list of things to consider when submitting to an exhibit outside of your country. Look for a link to that information at the end of this video. Now, let's slow down and review a typical IAPS prospectus. This should answer most of your questions and make the process of entering one of our exhibitions easier. One of the things we get the most questions about when preparing for our show are our eligibility rules, so let's go through each one. Remember, these can change from competition to competition and definitely vary between different art organizations. So it's very important that you read the eligibility rules every time you enter a show. Here are IAPS' current rules. Number 1, Works must be in dry pastel, no oil pastel. Mixed media must be predominantly dry pastel. We'll discuss more about this later when I review the judges' considerations. Number 2, works must be original, not copied from another artist or published materials, and from your own reference. Any reference provided by an instructor is not eligible, including an instructor-provided photo, still life setup, or model setup. If you aren't working from life but are relying on a photographic reference, that reference must be your own. You must have taken the photo, created the still life setup, or model setup. These must be yours. You cannot use any instructor-provided reference. Also, you can't use any references from any published materials or a screenshot from a TV or a computer. This also means you cannot paint from a copyright-free photo because you did not create them. Number 3, artwork must not have been done in a workshop or class setting. Number 4, artwork must be originally drawn and not created on top of any type of photographic image. Number 5, all work must have been created within the last 2 years. Number 6, paintings of nudes will be considered for acceptance. Number 7, size limitations. This is for physical shows only, but keep your eye on this one. Size limitations can change depending on how much wall space is available. Often, Iapps will reduce the size eligible so more works can hang in a smaller venue. When doing your measuring, use the outside dimensions of your frame. Number 8, your artwork must be for sale. Since your painting must be available, you should remove it from circulation until you hear about acceptances. Overlapping entries can make this a problem, and penalties will be incurred if an accepted painting is unavailable and is not shipped to the show. Number 9, artwork sent to the show must be exactly the same as the photo submitted. In other words, if you sell a painting before shipping to a show, you cannot repaint a replacement for submission. It also means you should be careful not to over-edit a photograph to the point it no longer looks like the original painting. Number 10, work may not have been accepted in any previous Iapps exhibition. This does not include member society shows. Keeping track of your artwork is your responsibility, not ours. If you are at the level of getting your work accepted into an Iapps competition, then you are advanced enough to keep track of your own work. We have had enough artists ignore this rule that we've had to institute some penalties. The first time you break this rule, your painting will be automatically rejected and you will have 1 honors point removed. If you have a second infraction, then you will be banned from entering future Iapps shows for 2 years. Jurors Considerations. The following are additional items that the jurors may use when making their decisions. The top layer of the painting should be at least 80% dry application of pastel. We get a lot of questions on what this means. It means no matter what form of underpainting or what substrate is used, except for photographic reproductions, which are not allowed, our standard is that the top layer should be predominantly 80% dry application of pastel. It's okay if your work is more like a drawing with a lot of paper showing, as long as the top media used on the paper is 80% pastel. For example, you could have a drawing with most of the paper showing, but as long as the drawing part is 80% done with dry pastel, it qualifies. If the outcome of the painting has been significantly influenced by another artist's work, the jurors may consider the painting to be ineligible. Works that appear to duplicate a painting previously accepted into an Iapps show may be ineligible. In its pursuit of exhibitions of international excellence and distinction, Iapps encourages artists to submit new and fresh paintings. We recommend that you submit work that has not been included in a national show in the last 12 months and has not won an award in a previous exhibition. We also suggest that you do not submit entries into a show that will be running concurrently. We hope you have found this review helpful. At this point, I'll hand it back over to Richard.
So thank you, Bethany, for walking us through a typical IAPS prospectus and guiding us all individually through the things that we must consider and remember. In conclusion, I would like to address the pastel community and just say, don't procrastinate. Don't wait till the last minute to enter your work. Be prepared. Look at what's involved. Make sure that the work that you're working on meets that criteria so that you're not at the last minute realizing that the piece that you hope to enter cannot be entered. So the better prepared, the more relaxed we'll be, and then the easier it is to keep creating and entering those exhibitions that are out there. So thank you to the education team for all of their hard work on producing this video, to Bethany again for guiding us through it. And we really are looking forward to the next video where we'll be covering photography and giving more tips on the online jury process of entry. I want to tell everybody to stay optimistic when it comes to your paintings. Don't worry about those rejection notices. We all receive them. Be excited when you are accepted and just keep putting yourself out there. Art's a creative endeavor. It's your form of communication. And so having that ability through these exhibitions to see the various works now from around the globe connects us all as artists, as pastelists. We see the beautiful medium that we have an association with through the eyes of someone else. And that's really what it's all about. And this is one of the venues that we do it with in our exhibitions. So stay creative, keep putting yourself out there, and we're all looking forward to seeing that next fabulous painting from each one of you.